And so we just were going to share some announcements with you guys, and then we're taking this like first come first serve. So once we get through the announcements that are super quick, I promise, then we'll come to whoever hopped on first. You'll have an option to say yes, I want to be in the hot seat, or pass, and then you will be able to choose like what you want to like get feedback about or ask questions about. We'll either like critique your social media, or if you have like an objection that seems to be like constantly coming up for you that you're struggling with, or if there's just like a conversation that you have going that you're stuck on or don't know how to respond, or like just whatever, it's totally up to you, and we will just kind of help walk you through that, and then then we'll move on to the next person. So it's very casual, very unscripted. So, all right, so super quick. First things first, you probably saw us posting about the coach Q&A, which is next week. I know I posted about it in my, my PS coaches page, and I know Sarah posted about it in S.W.E.A.T. And so you've probably seen it, but you have like another week to get those invites and conversations out there. And basically like we're going to do the work for you. So you guys get those invites and then say, let me go ahead and get you on this call where, you know, all of your questions will be answered. So you don't have to answer like and be put on the spot and like answer all those questions. So this is great for you, for your new coaches, for people who are just afraid to like have that conversation. Get those people in this event and get them going. So I had posted like a challenge, and I know Sarah did too, to start making a list of like 20 people, 10 to 20 people that like maybe you follow on social media. Maybe you've been like watching them for the last however long, and you think like, gosh, they'd make a great coach. Or maybe they're like just a rock star challenger. Those are the people that you want to start talking to about this event. So get that out there. And if you have questions about that, you can reach out to us either in the S.W.E.T. page or privately via Messenger, and we can answer any questions about that. I think all the emails went out about the summit workout, so make sure that you register for that. And if you don't have a room, I've seen people posting about rooms that they have open and things like that, so make sure you've got your accommodations nailed down and your workout scheduled and all that good stuff. And there's like different threads going around, so look through the S.W.E.T. page if you've got questions. And there's a summit group too, right, Sarah?
It's an event, so they have to be in S.W.E.T. Society. Yeah.
Okay, so look for the event.
But you can add your coaches like to that page to get into that group.
Yeah, and then make sure you've got on your calendars for the Thursday at Summit. There is like a little get-together, well, a big get-together with our upline. So it's not just our S.W.E.T. Community. It will be like Teresa Hansen, Daphne, and who else is in that, Sarah?
So it's Teresa Hansen, and then it's Dara and Emma, and then it's Daphne, and then me. So it's this huge like upline instead of like downline. It's like our upline mama bears. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be really great. It'll be really fun. And it'll be a really great opportunity for you to meet other coaches that aren't like just in our community. And not that there's anything wrong with S.W.E.T. Society, right? But it's fun to like meet other people, talk about how they're running their business, different things that they're doing, struggles they're having, or things that are working for them. And, you know, hopefully you can forge some new friendships and continue to nurture those after Summit. So mark your calendars for that Thursday. And there is an event for that as well. And then there is, so talking about this coach event and just kind of keeping the momentum going for May, we had that April-May promo where you can earn your tank for Summit. So make sure that you're staying on track for that. I know a lot of you already hit April, so now it's just May, and a lot of you are on track to already do that, so that's awesome. So talking about like just building, like what can you do, right, to keep that momentum going into May? So just building value around the challenge pack. We still have that challenge pack promotion for May. Is it $10 off or 20?
20.
20. So it's still like $20 off. And and then also, like, this is kind of a big selling point, I think, is that any of the challenge packs that are purchased in May also get the new real-time workouts for free. So that's kind of just like an added value, right? Like you'll be able to do these workouts with our group, even though you're not signing up for Ultimate Portion Fix, or, you know, you can use that as added value. So throw those in there. Be talking about it on your stories, be posting about it on Facebook. I'm going to shout out Kendra because, like, seriously, if you guys aren't following her on Facebook and just seeing her posts, like, they are spot on. She's like addressing, and I'm just calling her out because she's my PS coach. Not that I just don't always see what everyone else is doing. But she's talking about her groups. She's talking about the objections she's getting. She's talking about the excuses that she's hearing. She's talking about messages that are coming in her inbox, and she's addressing them publicly. And I think that's a really great way, because if one person is telling you something, you know that there's other people that are feeling the same way. So be talking about it, be posting about it, and be keeping it top of mind. Don't think that you're talking about it too much. Especially if you're talking about it in stories. I can't tell you, like, consistency is key. And I always tell everyone, Kendra is like the consistency queen, not only with her workouts and her nutrition, but with her business now as well. So go take a look at her social media because she's rocking it. So good job, Kendra. So keep that momentum going in May. And hopefully through this call, we're going to help you kind of work through some of the things you might be struggling with. So did I get all the announcements?
Yeah, there's the one that corporate, so we're putting on a tank promo for April and May, but corporate's putting on a tank promo that if you help one coach get 1 point on the board and you also hit Success Club, you get a tank. And these are the tanks that are like, I feel like they save all the Success Club prize apparel for like the nice stuff. It's like the nice stuff, and you're like, dang, I wish I would have gotten that once you see everybody else has it, and it's like this really nice quality. And so yeah, that should be a goal of yours, to help one of your new coaches get 1 point on the board while you also get 6. Not that Success Club is the end all be all, but we can all help, you know, at least one person get going.
Yeah, and it's just a good way to measure, like, bringing in new people and all that good stuff. And you guys, don't forget that you get Success Club points for anything that's like 90 PV on auto ship. So performance stack, Shakeology orders, any combination of items that reach 90 PV. So if they
and previous customers, like, I've been going back through renewals that are coming up when we run that report and see different renewals that are coming up each week for people that are going to be coming up with their BOD, and sending them an email like, hey, your renewal's coming up. And those, like, you know, just every 6 months you can earn Success Club points on the same customer. So keep that in mind too. That helps.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to jump into our hot seats. So I don't know, Sarah, you were on before me, so I'm not sure if, is it Tara?
I think Kendra was first, and then Tara.
Okay.
And Monica, and then Erica, and then Emily.
Perfect. Okay. All right, so Kendra, you can pass, or you can sit in the hot seat and tell us what you want to chat about.
Oh, let's unmute her. Hang on. There you go.
Yeah. You can, I don't know. I might pass. I'll think about it.
Don't be scared.
We didn't need to critique on my social media. You go right ahead.
I don't think you need a critique on your social media.
I know, she just gave you all the, like, mad props.
I really don't. I think that you are.
We all, like, grabbed our phones and went to your page.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'll pass for now. I'll listen.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
I feel like something's brewing over there. All right. So then, Tara, it's up to you.
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am kind of nervous to have you guys critique my page, but I do have questions because this morning I actually borrowed one of your images, Sarah, of like, what do you struggle with? And it was like,
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Like, working out, sleeping. Yeah.
So I had a lot of people comment, or I say a lot for me. And then I'm sitting here thinking, well, shoot, what do I say now? So, like, there were so many people that were, I guess there was quite a big variety. So I don't know what to send them now. And I feel like it could result in great things for me, but I don't know. What would you recommend? How do I move forward with that?
Megan or Tara, you want to take that? I feel like both of you are really good at this. Like the, hey girl. But there's a unique science behind that post because they're all related. working out, sleeping, eating better, and I think water or something was the other one. And so I think that, like, I purposely did it because it's an easy segue to be like, hey girl, I saw you commented on my post. Saw you were struggling with sleeping. Like, what's going on? I've got a crazy toddler that's waking up in the middle of the night right now too. Like, what's your deal? So it's just a good conversation starter. But yeah, you're right. It leads to those conversations of, oh, you're not sleeping well? Well, are you working out? Oh, well, that helps me sleep better. Or, oh, you're not eating well? Oh, I just got this new meal plan that I've been following that's amazing. Insert ultimate portion fix. So I think it's just, what's that girl? And we talked about this last week or last month. What's her name? Don't be a bitch, press send. That girl. Yeah. You know, I think it's just literally just sending those like initial messages to get the conversation started. And then they really just kind of take the, like, they'll come back and I swear to you, they'll spill the beans. If you just ask them like, hey, what's going on? I saw you said you weren't sleeping well. You know, I swear they'll spill the beans. And then it'll give you that, you know, mojo to be like, oh, I can help with that.
Well, and it was people that I was like, oh, they're commenting on my posts? Like, what? So I don't know. It just was like, oh, shoot, now what do I do?
Like people that you're uncomfortable talking to, or like really close friends, or who?
Just like people from high school that like I'm friends with on Facebook but haven't talked to in years. So I'm like, oh, wow.
Perfect.
You see my stuff.
Yeah. And then it's
I think you just answered your own question.
Yep.
Like, seriously, it's someone you haven't talked to in forever. That's a perfect way to approach the conversation. Oh my gosh, girl, I haven't seen you since high school. Like, what are you up to? And that is super genuine, right? That's like, I seriously haven't talked to you since high school, or, you know, however long. It's like, that is such a genuine way to approach the conversation. And then, you know, obviously they're going to be probably likely have like been seeing your post or whatever. And then you can just like, I don't like to carry those conversations on too long because then it feels fake. So like after that initial like exchange, they'll be like, oh my gosh, girl, like you should totally, and then, you know, go into
Well, you have a good one, Tara, that's like, I don't know if you've seen, but I've been doing these workout programs, or I've restarted my coaching business again. I'd love to help you with whatever. So Tara's right. That's a good segue into inviting them.
Okay. I'll do that.
Megan has some really good, like short. Like
Megan is the queen.
Yeah. With the like short, like to the point, but super short and not like cheesy or, you know, like I love the one that's like, I've been wanting to reach out to you, but like the fear thing, you know, and like everyone that has responded to me on that one is like, oh my gosh, don't ever be afraid to reach out. Like, it's like, all right.
Well, I've been saying, like with my stories, and I feel weird doing this, but I don't know. So when I notice someone's viewed my story, I've been reaching out and just saying, hey, thanks for being supportive. And, you know, I really appreciate it. It's sometimes hard to put yourself out there. And so that's been generating some conversation, but sometimes people just read it on Messenger and then they're like, whatever. So.
There's some, I get the same thing. They just see it and don't respond. And then some, but I also make it funny too. Like, hey, thanks for tuning into my like crazy mom life over here. Need a glass of wine at noon, you know, like I know we all have our own personality and style, but don't be afraid to, you know, add some jokes or add like lots of emojis and make it fun, because people are attracted to humor, lightheartedness, that kind of thing, to want to respond. If it's this like, hey, thanks for watching my stories, you know, they're probably not going to respond. But the fact that you put in like, it's so hard to put myself out there and I get really nervous, or the fear thing, like that opens yourself up. It's that emotion that people connect to want to talk back. And I always try to end it with a question like, do you work out too? Or are you struggling too? So that if you ask a question, then they typically have to respond, which means they usually will if they read your message and want to.
Yeah.
I also feel like you're making yourself vulnerable when you say like you're nervous or scared or whatever. Like that's a hard thing to admit, right? And like you're immediately like drawing on, and hopefully they have some compassion, right? Or like empathy. And that's going to make them want to respond, because they're not going to want you to continue to be feeling what you're feeling, right? Like, oh my gosh, I don't want her to be like whatever. They're just going to naturally want to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you messaged, or, you know, like whatever. You're going to get such a positive response when you make yourself vulnerable and just be real, you know? I think that's
that trust bridge. It like connects it faster.
Yes.
When
you're
you're
building
vulnerable
quickly that way.
I know one thing that has been working for me, or at least it's gotten the conversation going, is I think it was one of Megan's emails that she had sent or something. Anyway, it said something along the lines of like, hey, I know I'm going out on a limb here, but so that's been working well. So I love that, because that kind of like takes the pressure off me, I feel like.
Yep.
I get really nervous. But, anyway.
You'll get, the more you do it, the better you'll feel about it, and the more confidence you'll build to do it. So just keep doing it. Because I know, for those of you that don't know, Tara has like jumped back into working her business again. She kind of wasn't for a while, and then now she's jumping back in. So it's always hard to like restart and, you know, jump back into something. You feel like you're the freshman in high school all over again. So
Yes, accurate.
You're doing awesome though. Just keep on keeping on. Anything else that you've like been struggling with, or I feel like your posts have been really good lately, and honestly, I feel like you're probably getting more traction with stories, don't you think?
I definitely am, and I don't know really how stories work, but like my stories have been being viewed by more people, and I think like I've been using my stories for, I don't know, maybe a few months now, and before it was like, oh, 10 people viewed that story, and I don't now it's like upwards of like 40, which seems like a lot to me, but probably not to you guys that have a ton of followers. But I definitely like stories better. I think I struggle more with finding or figuring out content to post on Facebook. Stories, just I can just throw it up there and be done with it. So
I use Ashley Shaw's stuff over and over and over again. I just kind of recycle content. In my PS page, I have a unit section with some posting templates, Tara. So you can go through those and just, I save stuff on the saved tab. I'll have to show you how to do it later, but any post that you see in your newsfeed, you can save it, and I organize it to different like topics, so that when I'm feeling uninspired, I can go to those and say, okay, I need a fitness post, and it'll pull up fitness, and I can be like, oh, that was good, and then obviously rewrite it to my own words and make it sound like me, but that helps. So if you need some inspiration, Ashley Shaw has some good stuff, and I've tried to save some of it to the unit section.
okay.
Alex Beaton, has anyone ever done, I don't know if that's how you say it, but she's the Double Down Your DMs girl. Have y'all heard of her? Yeah? No? If you're struggling with stories, I feel like she's the girl that you want to like join her little challenge, because she kind of tells you like step by step what to do to build your traction in your stories and kind of get more people in your inbox. It's like doing more polls and kind of telling more about what you're really doing, because people don't really know what you're doing, because you're like talking about coaching, but you're not, but you are, but you're talking about fitness. So she kind of really gives you direction in your stories if you feel like you're kind of like loosey-goosey there. So she's Instagram, but this could apply to Facebook too. So it's Alex, Beadon. You can just Google her, and I promise her little challenge will like pop up in your face. And you can join it, and then it comes to your inbox like it's daily challenges every day of like what to do to build your stories. So for anyone that's struggling with that.
I was just going to say, the other thing I think that helps with posting is like, just don't overthink it. And I think Megan actually has some really good like lifestyle type, posts. Like she shares like fashion, like if you're looking for like what kinds of things should I or might I want to post about. I think you could maybe get some ideas like from Megan's page, because I think she does a really good job of like branding herself with fashion, mom, fitness, and she's very like transparent with her life. Like, I'm a mom of 3, I drink wine at 4 o'clock, or, you know, whatever time it is. But you know, like, she has that brand, and it's very her post, and I don't know if you do this intentionally, but that's how I, like, every now and then when I go peek at her page, I'm like, oh, she was such a good job of like branding herself. I have a very specific message, and it's like mindfulness and like personal growth and development. So I talk a lot about that in all my posts, but that's just like my audience, you know. I could probably do a better job of like branding myself more with those like 5 things that you want people to come and remember you by, right? So like, you know, think about those things, like what you're passionate about, what you want people to think of you when they think about, you know, like, oh, I should message Tara about this because she's like, something pops in my feed about this all the time from her, you know. So think about those things if you haven't like gone through those, like, I don't know, there's like 5 things that you kind of rotate through. And then I like to think about like my Facebook and my Instagram as like, for me, this is how I post. And I do this differently than a lot of people. But for me, my posts are more like a journal entry. So it's like sharing my life experience, maybe an experience or something that I've gone through or went through, or maybe it's just like journaling my day. And so like whenever I'm feeling uninspired, I can be like, all right, well, what was my day like today? If it's like the end of the day and I'm like, I need to post, right? And then I can be like, oh, I did this with the kids. And then I build my post like around that. And I tie in like coaching and my workout. And I just like, it's like I wrote in my journal and then posted it. And that kind of gives people insight to like, you know, what you do in your day. And like, you know, you can talk about the things that matter to you, you know, and it allows people to get to know you. So it depends on what your style is, what your brand is. If you want to use your, you know, social media as like your sort of like blog entries, that's kind of how I use mine. Not everyone does that. Some people keep it very short and simple. Some people write along. It just depends on your following, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there for ideas.
And see, I love that you do that because I don't, and I read all yours.
But
I need short and simple. Like I need like short and simple and like just throw it up without thinking about it. But I love that you blog it because I read them all, and that's what I'm attracted to. But I don't do that.
Well, and everyone's different. There's lots of different ideas and theories, and you know, there's no right or wrong way. It's just like what the kind of people that you're speaking to. I think that says a lot in how you post, you know. I don't know.
2 people I follow that are Beachbody coaches. One, Rachel Baldwin. That girl is amazing. But 2, the second one is they're from Canada, I think. Jamie and Kim Fitzpatrick.
Yes, they're amazing.
I just love Kim's energy. Like, I don't know. I love it. But I am the queen of overthinking. So anything that's like short, sweet, get it out there is my approach probably. Otherwise I overthink it and it's like just a cluster.
So I would say as you're like, and I don't suggest scrolling the news feed, but as you are in the feed or in Instagram or whatever, as you see stuff that like speaks to you, like, wow, that's a good post, snatch it, save it, however you want to like, you know, you like save it for inspiration, put it in your notes or save it to Facebook, you know, saved files or whatever. And then you'll get, it'll help you. Like that helps me so much. Like I started doing that years ago, and now I just kind of like, now I've gotten better at posting on a whim and just being short and sweet. And, you know, sometimes I throw up stuff and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to do anything. And it gets like 149 shares on my like page. You know, it's like, whoa, but it's because I didn't care. It's because I was like, not that I didn't care. It was because I didn't overthink it. I just spoke, you know, said, this is how I'm feeling tonight, or this is my struggle today, or I need help. Like tonight or the other night I posted about salmon and like, hey, give me your best salmon recipes. Oh my gosh. Like I got 49 comments of salmon recipes, and I go back and thank everyone for the salmon recipes. And now it's like, I've made a connection with 49 new people. So little things like that. But then when you tell a blog story, like Tara's saying, you open up your heart, you open up your struggles, you open up your vulnerability and your story. And that's really what you have to do on social media is tell your story. It'll just get easier as you start compiling like inspiration from Jamie and Kim and Rachel. And I try to find people that have similar struggles and a similar story to me too, so that it does mirror a lot with what I'm going through. So other coaches that have one kid in elementary school and one kid at home with them, or, if you're pregnant, then someone else that's pregnant and they're kind of going through the same life loops as you. And Kendra said that she snapshots post ideas and comes back to them too. I do that too. I screenshot so much stuff. And I didn't know this, but until recently, which is so sad. But if you have an iPhone in your photo album, you can create albums and put photos in albums to organize them. Did y'all know that? Oh, I didn't know that you could do that. So now I have all these albums that are neatly organized with stuff, trips and stuff. So you can do that with screenshots, like she's saying.
And I guess I don't know, we should probably wrap up here, but I was going to suggest too that if you do struggle, it might be helpful to create like a, Monday through Sunday. Like, this is what I post about on Mondays. This is what I post about on Tuesdays. So that's going to do one of two things for you. One, it's going to take the thought process out of it for you, or you might not operate that way and you're going to figure out like, oh, I can't be boxed in to post about this every Monday. Like, you're going to be able to figure out like, how your brain works and like what works for you. But some people, I feel like, as a newer coach, or even just in general, need like a schedule. So I'm posting about like Monday motivation, I'm posting a recipe on Tuesday, and what's working for me on Wednesday, like meaning my workouts or like whatever, and you're just posting about those different things. And that way you don't have to think about the theme. You can just come up with the content, and you can base it around whatever you want to. And that may just help you kind of get started and find your rhythm. But you'll find your voice and, how to connect with people from there.
Well, thanks, guys.
You are welcome. I think Monica had hopped on next.
Yeah. So Monica, you can sit in the hot seat and tell us what you'd like to chat about, or pass, and we'll move on to the next person.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the last couple of months were just, life happened to me. So I was kind of MIA, kind of working, but yes. And what I realized, which is quite strange, that people wanted to connect with me now when I'm posting how bad life kind of like got me in the last couple of months, when I actually opened my heart to them. Not that I'm happy that the kids are doing great, but how I feel like I almost got into depression and all that. And now everybody wants to be nice and with me. And I'm like, but this is not me. I'm not the one who is depressed. I'm usually the one who picks people up and all that fun stuff. So yeah. So this is what I realized. But then my struggle is getting the schedule on. I can send out invites, I can send messages to people, but then I can't put on a schedule follow-ups, because I feel like I'm sending too many messages throughout the week to then catch up on follow-ups with everybody, if you know what I mean.
So you mean like like how you're tracking your conversations?
Not only that, I feel like I'm sending too much out there to stay on top of everything. Because, you know what I mean? So let's say I will send 20 to 30 messages a day. to people who watch my stories, people, new followers and all that. And then I can't follow up every day. So I used to follow up once a week, and now I'm like, okay, how can I follow up with over 100 people on one day?
Well, if you break it up and do maybe more batch messaging, like maybe you do your follow-ups on Friday. Like Sarah Lenore's mentioned that she does like a follow-up Friday where she does like a ton of follow-ups, you know, from the people that she's spoken with for that week or maybe the week prior. Like, you know, it might depend, maybe it's both, but it's just a big follow-up day. And that way you're reaching, you know, a lot of people instead of trying to, and so you're just focusing on your follow-ups that day. You know, you're not sending new messages. Also, you're just following up on that day.
Okay.
You know,
okay, it's on Instagram or Facebook?
Both. Because when I'm sending like to people on stories and people who like my posts, because I'm trying to connect with people who like my posts. And lately, when I open up about what was happening in my life, all of a sudden, I have so many likes on my posts.
That's good. That's that vulnerability that we were talking about. I don't know about everybody else, but I still am using the Success Club system tracker thing. And I love it because I write down who I'm talking to that day, week, whatever. And then I know now who I need to follow up with. And if they were on the list from last week, I move them over to this list. And so my lists get long. They're growing, which is good. That's what you want. But now I know who I need to follow up with. I'd only write them down if they respond to me.
Okay, that's what I do. That's what I do.
And then I only flag them on Instagram or Facebook. It's hard. You can't really do it on Facebook. But on Instagram, I flag them if they respond to like my second message and the conversation goes somewhere, or I send them an invite. If I invite them like, hey, you know, I know we just met, but I have this boot camp and I'd love to invite you, then they get a flag. And so then I know on Friday when I go to do my like big mass follow-up, if they're flagged, I just sort it by flag, and that's who I'm checking in with.
Okay, another question for, I don't know how many of you work full-time and are hardly ever at home. What do you put on your stories besides workouts and your meals?
Kendra works. So maybe you can chime in, Kendra, and share how you share on your stories.
So I try to do more. I work in the morning, I teach in the morning. So I put a little bit of stuff about teaching. And then I do mostly random kid stuff. I'm home with my daughter in the afternoon. So some slightly obnoxious things she does, which is every day. Sports stuff, like with mostly, you know, my kids' life. I guess that's most of what I do, I think.
I think a lot of times, like, I think my stories are boring. Like, sometimes I'll go back and watch them and I'm like, why would anyone even care about this? But you will be amazed at what
stupid stuff people like to watch.
Sit and watch. And that's how they connect to you. And then they all of a sudden feel like they know you. So even if you're like, so I have a coach, Laura, on my team. She works full time and her stories are always great. Like, she shares her morning, like maybe it's her workout or her yoga. And then she shares like something like motivational that she's done, or like maybe it's the sunrise, like on her drive to work, right? Or whatever it is. And then she always shares her lunch or like a snack, like maybe she'll share her snack because she's using like her portion containers, and then she'll share her lunch if she like eats out for lunch. And that's what I like about her stories, because she eats out for lunch a lot, but she always eats healthy. So that's something really nice to be able to show people, like, you can still eat out and, you know, whatever. And then she will post like her kids stuff if they have activities, like her daughter's in ballet, and then her stepkids have like their sports and stuff. And then she posts stuff about her spouse and like dinner, and then, you know, whatever happens in her evening. And so it's just really like just your day, which seems boring, but people are interested, and that's how they get to know you. So,
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, that I just don't want to be boring. And, I can't post 5 or 6 times a week about my son playing soccer and my daughter being in volleyball, because yes, he's on the field 6 times a week. So,
I mean, you can share like your outfit, like that you're wearing for the day, or like shoes, like silly things.
And now you're talking my language, okay?
Well, at the same time, I think though, with like if you're just doing it in your stories though, like I think it does make you relatable. Like, yeah, during 6 months of the year, we spend 5 days a week at the hockey rink. Like that's our life, right?
Yeah.
Like there is some piece of it that, people relate to, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you can share share, like if you're have a thing for shoes, like share your shoes. I mean, there's another girl on our team that like, always shares like her outfit of the day. I mean, that allows people to like see who you are, right? And then they're gonna be like, oh, I like her style, or, whatever it is. Just find those things that allow people to see a little bit deeper than like, I'm doing this and that and this. It's like you're giving them a little of your personality.
Okay. Alrighty, thank you.
And just play around with it, and see what people respond to. But like Kendra said, if your kids' activities are your life, then you're going to relate to other people who are in that same boat. So talk about that and find those people, just in thought.
Yeah, that's my life. I don't do anything else.
Then other people that live the same way will be attracted to that. So I don't think you have to like hide that, Other people, I think you'd be surprised at people that might message you that be like, oh my gosh, there's someone that lives the same life what I do. Like, this is my life, So just use that to your advantage, I think.
Okay, alrighty, will do. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, so
Emily.
I'm gonna unmute you. I can't unmute.
I will. Oh. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think I can relate. I think something I've been like just thinking about more is just how I can have more variety in my stories, because I work full time as a teacher, and I don't have any kids or anything yet. So I'm just trying to figure out different ways I can share my life and myself with the people who follow my feed. So just listening to this conversation, I think I have some more ideas about that. But yeah, I don't know.
Emily, I think you're getting better though. Like last night you were like posting about drinking wine and watching the Stanley Cup finals. Like people without kids would do, right? You're getting better at it. So
yeah. I think like sometimes like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say your Instagram feed is like looks super cute and all stylish. Your skills are great.
Thanks.
Yeah. So Sarah, Emily is Kendra's coach, and then Kendra is mine.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, like Emily, like I've been like watching you pop up on my feed. Your Instagram feed is awesome. You are like someone, seriously, like if I were just like scrolling through, I'd be like, oh, she's so cute. Like I want to go look at her page. So I think you draw people in. You have a nice, like your pictures are like they all seem to have like the same like filter or color, like they're not like crazy, and it's just a really neat looking feed. You've got recipes, and you and your, I don't know if he's your fiance or boyfriend, fiance. Yeah, like, cute couple. Like I'm just totally drawn into your feed, right? And like I see some of your stories. I try not to watch a ton of stories because it's like I get sucked in, and then I'm like, how did I get here? But like I love the pictures of you because like you've got a great smile and you just like come across like very friendly and approachable, and so I wouldn't be like intimidated to be like, who is this girl? I want to know more about her. And so I think just keep going a little deeper with your stories. Like Kendra said, like you're sharing more, maybe try and like weave your stories. So, because I see like you're posting about your like virtual gym, like maybe try to post a little bit more, but talk about your workout, like talk about how you felt after your workout, you know, those kinds of things, so people see what you're doing. Like I see you sharing like your pre-workout and stuff like that. But you're definitely like on the right track. Like keep doing what you're doing and just, you know, like I just keep doing what you're doing and maybe just try and peel some layers back and maybe like create more of a story throughout your day, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, that's something that's kind of difficult for me, but I've been trying. Something that I've been thinking about more is I noticed that a lot of you go, like, you post videos and like talking on your stories, and that's something that I've been thinking about, and I feel like I should challenge myself to do it, but I'm super nervous to do it. So I'm trying to challenge myself to do it more. But yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about.
I love it. And you can get some really good, like, so I think each of us do that probably in different ways. Like I know Megan gets on and talks a lot about how she's like not motivated to work out, but she's going to do it anyway. I talk a lot about, I talk a lot just because I talk a lot. And so like my followers just know that. So I might talk about whatever. It might be my workout, it might be mindfulness, like whatever. But I'm a person who like talks a lot on my stories. And then like Sarah talks a lot about her workouts, you know, and things like that. So yeah, like when you're doing that, just act like you're talking to a friend, like one friend. Okay. Just pick a friend and just talk to that person. Like it's just you're having a conversation. And just keep it real. Don't feel like you have to have a script or anything like that. Mine are usually, and I know Megan's, all of us, we're all like off the cuff, right? Like maybe we had an idea, but we just like got on and started talking, and then it turns into whatever it turns into. And I just find that like the people that aren't drawn to that, they're just going to go through, and that's fine. But then you're going to connect with people. They're going to hear your voice, and that's where they can really like, for some reason, they can feel like they know you. So then you're going to like reach out to them and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I already know you. Like those are the best messages to like exchange, because you're sharing so much of yourself that they already feel like they know you. So when you reach out, it's like, oh yeah, like we're already friends. I trust you. I like you. I want to do what you're doing, you know? So yeah, like challenge yourself, get in that stretch zone. You know, maybe just get on and talk about your workout. Like maybe that's easy, right? Like start simple, or maybe it's something that you're challenged, like that you're struggling with, like, oh my gosh, I'm not a morning person, or, you know, whatever it is, and talk about that. And you can like watch, I mean, you might already, but like don't get in the hole of like watching stories, because like I said, that can get out of control. But, you know, watch like a few of our stories and just see like that, and maybe you can get some ideas. But yeah, you've definitely like have a great vibe going on, and your energy is great. And I would say just start peeling back some layers, maybe get a little more vulnerable. But yeah, you've got a good theme and all that stuff. And then make sure that you're getting in people's inboxes, because you can have a pretty Instagram, but if you're not connecting with people, then, you know, so you have to make sure that the people that are engaging with you, that you're engaging with them. So yeah.
I just wanted to say real quick, is it okay if I say something?
Yeah.
So I was so nervous. What was it when you and I were talking, Sarah, a couple weeks ago? I seriously recorded like 10 different videos on my phone, and I was like, oh my God, Tara, just flipping post it. Like, and I did it, and it was like a weight had been lifted. So I don't know if that helps you at all, Emily, but
yeah, it does.
It was just like, oh, I did it.
Is that the one that you sent me?
No, I didn't end up posting that one. That was a disaster, but
you're so cute.
I don't know. I've done a bunch of them on like my workouts, or like I'm really into like journaling and personal development right now. So I've done a couple on that, but anyway, just do it. You'll feel good about it.
Thank you. That's super helpful. Thank you.
And Emily, you're like, remember like a month or two ago, you're like, how am I going to post a workout video? And now their workout videos are super cute, and you have music, and
oh my gosh.
So you can totally do it.
Yeah. You're right. I was super nervous to do those workout videos, but I'm doing it.
I mean, you have everything you need. Like, you just need to like put yourself in that stretch zone, get out of your little comfort zone, challenge yourself a little bit. You know exactly like what, you know, you know what to do. It's just doing it. So yeah, you got it, girl.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Anything that you're struggling with, like, that you want to chat about at all, or?
I guess I just have a question. So I've been following the business tracker pretty much every day, which has been really helpful. But I just have a question about sometimes people don't respond, which is fine. But then I just wonder, like, do I follow up with them like in the next week? Or sometimes people will like ask for more details and then I never hear back from them. So I just wonder, like, what would be an appropriate like time to re-follow up with them if I've already given them details about our boot camp or like the challenge packs or whatever? Like, what would be an appropriate way to follow up with them without sounding too pushy, but also like, hey, I just wanted to check back in with you? I don't know. That's what I've been like struggling with a little bit this week.
Yeah, so my rule of thumb is that if they're still watching my stories or liking my stuff, then I'm going to assume that they're still interested. Okay. And until they tell me otherwise, I'm going to keep following up with them. So whenever I do my follow-ups, which I, like Sarah, do like a big follow-up batch of messages like once a week.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of depends on the conversation. Like if you're like, oh, my bootcamp is starting on Monday, right? And this conversation is like Friday, then I might follow up with them the next day and be like, hey, just wanted to make sure you saw my message. Don't want to be pushy at all. And I actually say that, like, no pressure. You know, I just want to make sure. I know I read messages all the time with the intention of coming back to them and then I forget about, you know, like just being honest and stuff like that, so that it doesn't come off as like, do you want it or not? Even though that's really what you want to know. But so, I mean, it depends on like timing and things. If the conversation's been going, you send them pricing and then you hear nothing, then it's kind of like, okay, hey girl, like what's going on? I totally get it. If something is holding you back, let's just chat about it, you know? Right. So you kind of have to like feel that out. But I think that it's appropriate to follow up until they tell you like, I will contact you when I'm ready, you know, or I'm just not interested. You don't have to message me back. And I've never had anyone say that. So, I mean, I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Sarah, like, what's your...
I do that same thing, but I also I always play like, hey, did you get my message? Did it come through? And that always, because people read messages and they forget, like, my market is busy moms. So they read it and then their kids like coming in crying or peeing their pants or whatever, and they put their phone down and forget to go back and respond. So I always just kind of do a, hey, did my message come through? My Facebook or my Instagram has been acting weird or whatever, just to make sure you got it kind of message. And that always pops back up. Or I follow their stories and I reply to something in their stories if they've got them. And that pops me back into their kind of like realm again. And then I'm like, oh, did you see my last message? So I typically, I try to stay on top of those people because out of sight, out of mind. Even if they're following my stories, I try to stay on top of that conversation. So if we're in conversation, they're on my list and I'm kind of in contact with them as much as I can be without being annoying. And if I start feeling annoying, then I know I am being annoying. So then I back off.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of times people want like a concrete answer, like you should follow up with send one message this day and then follow up on this day. But, really, like, we're real people, right? So there is not, like, every conversation is going to be a little bit different. Yes, you can have your rule of thumb and, like, that's what we're telling you. But, like, honestly, you have to, like, feel out that person, and it's like, right? Like, in your gut, if you're feeling pushy, then maybe either come out and be honest about that. Like, hey, I don't want to come off as being pushy, but I know you were super excited about this. And then all of a sudden, like, I didn't hear from you. So, like, what's holding you back? Like, I'm not here to pressure you, but maybe I can help you work through whatever it is. If it's money, maybe I can come up with a more economical option. Or is it, like, if it's whatever, and you can kind of approach it that way where they feel like I'm being seen and heard, and I don't have to feel like I need to tell her yes or no today, and it kind of just creates, again, that rapport. So, like, use your gut too, like, because if you feel pushy, then yeah, like Sarah said, then back off a little bit or use that in your message, you know, but
and you should always say something like, you know, I love saying like, yeah, like Tara said, just being honest, like, I don't want to be pushy, but then you can also say like, is something holding you back, or would it just work out better if I check in with you next month? Or like set up a reason, like give them an out, but just be like, hey, you know, should I check in with you with my next boot camp or something like that? That way you have an excuse to message them again without feeling like you're bugging them over and over, you know? That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
thank you.
I use that a lot, and people will be like, then it usually comes out that they're like, I just can't afford it this month, but I want to do it. Please contact me next month. You know, so a lot of times it comes down to like money or something that you know, is really like holding them back, but they're just afraid to tell you, you know. Not that they're not interested or you're being annoying or anything else. It usually comes down to something that's holding them back in their own life. So by you staying on top of it, you're actually helping them, right?
Right.
You know, so yeah.
We have a whole like follow-up script list that's awesome. And I don't know whose it is or where it is. I know it's in my Google Drive as like the follow-up list, but it's awesome. And it has all these messages that we're talking about, but it takes you kind of through a sequence so that as you get through like the third or fourth follow-up, it gets a little more like pushy, like, hey, I can tell not right now is not the right time for you. I'll put you on my follow-up list for next month. Is that okay? It's still genuine, but it kind of gives you a little bit more concrete, you know, direction with the messaging. I'll find that, or Kendra, I'll send it to you or whatever so that you can get it to Emily, because it helps me a lot. I use it all the time and every follow-up Friday.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right, Kendra, we'll pop back to you. Hold on. I can't mute her. Unmute her.
To unmute me. There we go. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not very helpful today.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, I just wanted to give you the option. Like, you definitely got you. Yeah. Okay. Well, did we make our way through everyone? Or yes. Okay. All right.
Amber, mine shows there's Amber's on. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Amber, are you here? I can't.
Oh, is the call next week, the coach call, is it with the same Zoom ID, I assume? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll post more about that too. But yeah, if you're like letting people know ahead of time or whatever.
All right. I might let you go because I'm alone and my children are not going to bed like they should. So.
Okay. Thanks for getting on, Kendra.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, I hope that this was helpful for you. We'll try to do this format like more often, because I feel like if we can address your personal specific like struggles or, you know, whatever it is that's like more personalized to you and your business, because not everything is like general, right? I mean, most things apply across the board, but a lot of times it's nice to just get specific questions answered or guidance on specific things that you're struggling with. So hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you can take some things and put them into practice, and we'll do this again. But thanks for taking time out of your night. I'm going to take a picture so you can all get your cute faces on and smile. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, ladies, we'll have a good night, and we will talk to you soon. Hopefully we'll see you on the call next week.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.